Let's think about a tricky word from the text. Conditions is circled in red. But what exactly is a planet? It seems like an easy question. After all, you're standing in one right now. But the scientific definition was fairly loose until recently. The discovery of other solar system wanderers rivaling Pluto in size suddenly had scientists asking what wasn't a planet. They put their heads together in 2006 and came up with 3 conditions for planethood. A planet must orbit the sun, be large enough so that its own gravity molds it into a spherical shape, and it must have an orbit free of other small objects. Unfortunately for Pluto, our one-time 9th planet failed to meet the 3rd condition. It was downgraded to a dwarf planet, a classification of solar system objects you can read about here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read that again, but maybe break up some of the words because they had a lot of tricky words in this one. So it says, but what exactly is a planet? It seems like an easy question. After all, you're standing in one right now. But the scientific definition was fairly loose. They didn't really have what a classification was for a planet. So it says the discovery of other solar system wanderers rivaling Pluto in size. They found other planets in our solar system. That's why they say wanderers. They found other wanderers or other small planets that were about the same size, some smaller or some bigger than Pluto, that made scientists think maybe we should consider what isn't a planet anymore. They put their heads together in 2006 and came up with 3 conditions for planethood. So they had to check off all 3 conditions in order to be considered a planet. So number 1, they must be able to orbit the sun. Number 2, they must be large enough so that its own gravity molds it into a spherical shape. And number 3 is it must have an orbit free. It must have an orbit free of other small objects. So Pluto did not get that 3rd check. So that is why we lost Pluto as our 9th planet, because it didn't meet that 3rd condition. It was downgraded to a dwarf planet. So let's look at the definition of condition. It says condition is the state of something with regard to its appearance, quality, or working order. So specifically for this one, we're looking maybe at the quality, because you have to check off all 3 in order to be a planet, all 3 conditions. Okay. The second definition says the circumstances affecting in which people live or work. So that one's only specific to people or how they live or how they work, especially with regard to their safety or well-being. So harsh working and living conditions. So when we're talking about a planet, it's not really a living condition. It's more a state of something in regard to its appearance, quality, or working order.